morning and welcome to Kids Church. My name is Hannah and I'm so glad to be back with you today after a bit of a summer break. I wonder how many of you are feeling a bit sleepier this morning, having been back to school or nursery for the first time this last week. We're going to make sure you're feeling nice and awake and we're going to jump straight into a game. Okay, we are going to play a game of Hannah Says. So, if I say, Hannah says, do a star jump, then you do a star jump. If I say, touch the floor, you don't touch the floor because I didn't say Hannah says. So you have to listen really carefully. You're going to need to be on your feet for this one. Hannah says, jump on the spot. Hannah says, do some star jumps. Hannah says, touch the floor. Jump up. Oh, did you do it? Hannah says, jump up. Hannah says, turn around. Hannah says, stop turning around. Do some star jumps. Oh, did you do it? Hannah says, jump from side to side. Hannah says, do a Solomon. Hannah says, do a Joshua. Hannah says, hold on the spot. Do a star jump. Oh, you're getting good at this. Touch the floor. Oh, Hannah says touch the floor. Hannah says, oh, I'm running out of ideas. Hannah says, tap your head. Hannah says, touch your knees. Hannah says, touch shoulders. Pick your nose. Ugh, I hate you didn't do that. Hannah says, touch your knees again. Hannah says do some more star jumps. And stop. Oh, we can't stop yet. Hannah says stop. Hope you warmed up. We're going to sing a song now.
Alright, here we go. Come on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, 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 and you love me. You are good, 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 good. It's true. I love you. You are good, and I love you. He's good. If I feel lost and in the dark, I know I'm in your heart. When I'm hurt and need a friend, I know you're with me till the end. 'Cause if I ever start to doubt, there's just one thing I need to shout: that you are good, 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 and you love me. You are good, 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 good. Here we go. You are good, 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 good. You are good. You are good, 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 good. You are good, good. It's true. I love you. If I feel lost and in the dark, ooh, I know I'm in your heart. When I'm hurt and need a friend, I know you're with me till the end. 'Cause if I ever start to doubt, there's just one thing I need to shout: that you are good, 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 and you love me. Well, you are good, 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 yes, it's true. Good, strong, loving, kind, like the love I always find. Hope, help, hero, king, stronger than anything. Wise, bright, perfect side, closest friend, highest height, the first, last, middle, in your size, I cannot comprehend. Best of all, you set me free when on the cross you died for me. You're everything in life to me, and this is what I sing. Good, 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 and you love me. You are good, 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 yes, it's true. And I know you're good. always good. You're always good. You are good, yeah, good, 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 and you love me. You are good, yeah, good, 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 it's true. You are good, yeah, good, 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 and you love me. You are good, yeah, good, 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 you are good. I love you. Good, yeah, good, and you love me. You are good, good, yeah, yes it's true. Oh, good, 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 and you love me. Yeah, you are good, yes it's true.
Say hello to David, not as an old king, but as a young boy. Not that much older from some of you. David was part of God's people. His father was called Jesse, and he had lots of older brothers and sisters. He was the youngest of the brothers and the smallest as well. David spent his time looking after sheep. He would sit in the fields and count the sheep and protect them from any enemies. David also loved to sing. He loved to worship God, and he even wrote some of the Psalms in the Bible when he was older. But here he is at the beginning of where he meets him in the Bible.
Hello, I'm Tabitha, and I'm here to read you a story about David from the Bible. You can find it in the Old Testament in 1 Samuel chapter 17. So, it goes like this. Saul was still king, and he ruled God's people called the Israelites. David and his family were Israelites too. The Israelites weren't getting on very well with the people named the Philistines. Okay, so one of the strongest and biggest men of the Philistines was named Goliath, and he was over 9 feet tall, which is taller than any person recorded in the Guinness Book of World Records. He would have had to bend way down to get through a regular door. Now, Goliath was covered in armour to protect him, and he carried a big spear. And every morning and every evening for 40 days, he shouted to the Israelites in his big, deep voice, "Hey, you guys! I dare you to find one man to fight me. If he can beat me, we will become your servants. But if I win, you will all become our servants." When Saul and all his men heard this, they were very afraid. 3 of these men were David's 3 oldest brothers. They were the only ones in David's family that could go to fight, because they were the only ones old enough. Now, David's father Jesse heard about the giant and was worried for his sons. So he called David out of the fields and asked him to take some food to his brothers and report back how they were doing. So David set off to visit his brothers. As he approached, he heard Goliath shouting his challenge like he did every morning. And David said, "Isn't someone going to stand up to this man?" David asked the men in the army, "If no one will, then I'll fight the Philistine." One of the men overheard this and ran to Saul and told him what David had said. Saul approached David and said, "You can't fight Goliath. You're only a boy, and he's been fighting for many, many years." But David said to Saul, "I have had to fight lions and bears to protect my father's sheep. God help me keep me safe then, and he will keep me safe now." It was too bad that Saul the king wasn't trusting in God to help him. He didn't know what to do to beat Goliath. Then this young boy named David came, and he knew one day exactly what to do. and he trusted that God would help him. That's why God loved David's heart and wanted him to be king. So Saul dressed David in heavy armour to protect him from Goliath. But David took it all off. It was so heavy he could hardly walk, and he knew that God would keep him from harm anyway. Instead, David went to the stream nearby and found 5 smooth stones. He put them in a little pouch around his waist, and with a sling he went to fight Goliath. As David approached Goliath looked at David and thought it was a joke. Goliath thought that he could easily beat David, and it was funny that Paul would send this little small boy to fight him. But David said to him without fear, "You fight with a sword, and I come with my God on my side. And today, everyone will know that there is one true God in this land." Goliath didn't care that David said that, and he moved closer to attack him. David ran quickly around to meet him. Reaching into his pouch, he pulled out a stone, put it into his slingshot, and shot it at Goliath. The stone had hit him right between the eyes, and suddenly Goliath started to lose his balance. He fell with a loud thud right on his face. David had done it. He beat the giant Philistine. Whoop woo! When the rest of the Philistines saw this, they ran away, and David became the hero to all the people in Israel. And that's it for God's story. See you next time.
I've now got 3 questions that I'm going to ask you to see how well you were listening. So we've got a bit of a quiz on David. So question number 1, why did Saul not want David to fight? So why did Saul not want David to fight? Question number 2, what did David use to fight Goliath? So what did David use to fight Goliath? And then 3rd question, why did David offer to fight? Why did David offer to fight? Now that you've answered those questions, you hopefully saw the answers come up on the screen. Got a couple other questions for you, but there aren't right or wrong answers for this. So the first question is, can you think of a time when you were told you couldn't do something because you were too young or you weren't good enough? So that's the first question. And then the second question is, what can you learn from David? So what could you learn from David? Now, the thing that I have learned from David is that even though everyone around him told him that he was too young, he was too weak, he didn't have the right equipment, that even though everyone was against him, he knew that God could help him, and he knew that God would do what he promised. So just like David, when people around us might doubt us, when maybe there are problems around us that seem too big to change, that if we trust in God, we can have peace, that he will help us and he will be with us. One of the things that this story tells us is that God is able to do amazing things, that nothing is too big for him. So I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to pray about some things that seem too big for us to change, but with God, nothing is impossible. So it might be something in your own life, or it might be something in the whole world that you would like to pray for. And we are going to write them on bits of paper if you have some pen and paper to hand. And I've written them on really small bits of paper, because then we're going to screw them up in a ball. And then as you pray, you can throw them into the bin as a symbol of giving those things to God and praying that he will move in those areas. So it might be that you want to pray for sickness, people that you know are ill, maybe something that you're worried about, maybe it's an issue in the world like coronavirus or poverty, or people that are lonely. So you can write your things or draw a picture. You could do 2 or 3 or less than that, it's up to you, and then throw them into the bin. And as you do that, we're going to go into our final song. So then that will be the end of Kids Church. But thank you so much for joining me today. And if you would like to share anything that you've learnt or things that you've prayed about, then email them to the email below.
Father, you are my strength, and Father, you are my shield, and Father, you are my rock. I'll worship you, Jesus. Jesus, you are Jesus, you are my hope, and Jesus, you are my life. I'll worship you, 'cause all I want and all I need, all I seek is you. God, all I want and all I need and all I seek is you. The Spirit Jesus, you are my hope. Jesus, you are my life. I'll worship